everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game TIE Fighter Expansion Pack. Now, this is about the 6th time on my channel I reviewed the Twin Ion Engine fighter, and as always, I love the design, very iconic. It's a part of Star Wars as much as Luke or Leia or Han or the Falcon. You know, it's just a character all by itself. And I have to say, Fantasy Flight Games did a decent job. There's tons of details on here, and I can't wait to dive into it. We also have a bunch of cards and tokens and dials, like always, because it is an expansion pack. So getting right to the chase, the TIE Fighter was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and for its length, it's 1¼ inches long. So it may sound kind of small, but remember, all these fighters are to scale with each other. For example, here's an A-Wing, and you can see there's just enough room for one pilot in there. So that's kind of cool. And again, for the scale on these bad boys, they're about 1 to 270, and that's great. Once it gets to the bigger ships, it gets a little wonky. But for the most part, fighter to fighter or fighter to bomber, they are all to scale, and I love it for that. It's one of the major buying points for me anyway. So we do have a lot to cover. We're going to take a look at the token and dials, the cards, put this beautiful ship on a stand, check out the awesome mold and paint job, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now for one of my favorite segments, the dial token roll call. 1 maneuver dial. And dealing with the maneuver dial, this is all the movements that the TIE Fighter has. 3 ship tokens, which are double-sided. 1 focus token. 1 evade token. 1 stress token. 1 critical hit token. And finally, a whopping 12 ID tokens. So that does it for all the dials and tokens. So now let's take a look at those cards. Alright, just like always, I'll read the names of the cards, and then if you would like to pause the video and read the paragraph, by all means, go right ahead. So let's get started. The first card up is Determination, and the final card is Swarm Tactics. That's right, we only get 2 this time. So now let's take a look at the ship cards. First card up is the Howl Runner, Backstabber, Wind Gundark, Black Squadron Pilot, Obsidian Squadron Pilot, and finally, the Academy Pilot. And that does it for all the upgrade and ship cards. So now, let's take a look at that stand. Okay, for the stand, you get 2 cylinders. Just plug them in. Take that rod, stick it in the base. Then grab your ship, plug it in gently. These are very fragile. Then, you're good to go. Okay, looking at the mold of the TIE Fighter, first I'll go over the main sections of the ship, and then we'll get a nice close-up look at all that detail. First up, we have our cockpit right here with the transparent steel. Then we have our laser cannons right on the bottom, our pylons. Looking at the top, we have our hatch for the cockpit. On the back, we have our twin ion engines, our reactor. Some nice details on there. On the bottom, we have our peg connector port, so that's pretty sharp. Then right here, we have our wind braces and our panels. And that came out pretty cool. Now, when I think of TIE Fighters, I usually think of like the solar panel squares. But I am digging the lines here. It is pretty cool, and we do have detail in the inside as well as the outside. And just nice lines here. Beautiful work. So, let's get a nice close-up look at this bad boy. Alright, getting as close as I possibly can. Just take a look at all this beautiful detail. All these angles, nothing is flat on here. Even the transparent steel window and its supports have a little recess on there, and that is magnificent. On the bottom, we have our laser cannons. Coming around, we have our hatch for the cockpit. Nicely done. Spinning this bad boy around for the engine section. We can see our 2 engines, the ion reactor, and just tons of little details all over the place. For the bottom, we have our connector port for the stand. So that's pretty cool. And then we have our wings. Let's look at the outside first. Look at all that detail, beautifully done. And the best part of it is, not only is it detailed, but the wind supports here. You can see how they're thicker right here, and then they basically disappear, thick to thin. And that is a very nice touch. Now for the solar array panels, they aren't even flat. You can see there's little lines throughout the whole thing. Just beautiful. A really nice job. You know what it reminds me of? Like if you rip apart cardboard and it has like a little rib to it. That's what it reminds me of. Pretty sharp. Now for the interiors of the wings, they're basically the same thing. And just beautiful detail. Look at that. Tons of little modules on there. And then of course we have that nice wedge from it being thicker right here, and then the support tapers off, I guess is the word, into the tips of the wings. Just an amazing piece, it really is. So that does it for the mold of the TIE Fighter. I hope I covered everything. I just gotta say, I reviewed several TIE Fighters by now, and this is by far one of the most detailed I've ever looked at on my channel. And it's shocking since this is only 1¼ inches long. But fantastic job, Fantasy Flight Games. This is a beautiful piece. Even if you don't play the game, this is a nice little vessel to have. So, now that I'm done with the mold, let's take a look at the paint. Alright, when it comes to the paint of the TIE Fighter, we have a small handful of colors, but I think they're done very well. First color up is a nice light gray, and it matches pretty well to A New Hope's color scheme. In Empire and Jedi, the color scheme of the TIE Fighters turned from a light gray to a dark bluish gray, and I like that too, but nothing beats the original. Now for the transparent steel supports, we have dark gray, glossy black for the window, and then down here we have orange for the laser cannons. Then we have black right here for the paneling, and that's for the inside and out. And then it's hard to make out, but there is black right here in the center of the reactor. It took me a while. You can see it's a little offset. And also there is black right here in the back. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Now, besides the black, it is very heavy with the black wash. Everything on here, all these details just pop because of it though. So it is very nice. We can see it's some black wash right here. We can see there's some black wash right here going up. So that's pretty cool. And all over the pylons and the back. And I love that. It helps bring out all the details and really makes it come to life. So all in all, that does it for the paint. On the whole, it is a beautiful ship. I will admit there is some bleed in here, but come on, for the size, you hardly even notice it. It's awesome. So that does it for the mold and the paint. Let's put this bad boy back on the stand and compare it to some other ships. Alright, for a quick size comparison with the X-Wing TIE Fighter, I have it next to the X-Wing A-Wing, and they go great together. They're even to scale, so that's sick. And then finally, for all you Hot Wheels collectors, I have the Resistance X-Wing out just to show scale. And that does it for my review today of the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game TIE Fighter Expansion Pack. Now, the TIE Fighter made its first appearance in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, and for its length, it's 1¼ inches long, which is pretty small, but yet, when you look at this, it is a magnificent piece. Now, the TIE Fighter, geez, after several reviews, what more could I say about it? It's iconic, it's a great looking design, I love everything about it, and I really do think Fantasy Flight Games did an amazing job with this. Definitely one of the most accurate and detailed models in my whole collection. And to be honest, I can't wait to see what else in the future Fantasy Flight Games has up their sleeves, because if they can make a TIE Fighter look this good, what else could they do? So why do I like the TIE Fighter expansion pack? Well, first of all, the core set only comes with 2 TIE Fighters. Getting this gives you the ability to have 3, which is cool. You could swarm them. Besides that aspect, you get another maneuver dial, some tokens, 2 upgrade cards, and 6 ship cards, so you can really try and customize and see what you want to put out there. Now, to the main reason why I personally bought it, the ship. Detailed to the max, I am in love with this thing. I think it's very accurate, and it's just beautiful, and get into that beauty, the paint. Sure, it's a little sloppy on the wings, but I love it. I think it's really good. Now, you can't forget, you get that cool translucent stand, and you can customize them. They do sell different color stands. I believe there is a translucent red, and I believe there is a blue pack. So if you're looking to buy this vessel, I would strongly recommend Amazon, eBay, hobby shops. I personally got mine from Barnes & Noble, and it was about $14.99. So I recommend this for anybody who's a fan of the X-Wing Miniatures game, or the Imperials in general. It's a beautiful craft, and I think it will stand out in your collection. So that's everything I have to say about this little ship today. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button, and if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.